And yeah, we could tell you some more.
Southern says, and giving Guthrie Gutfield, because like even with the five, the seven with the five, he has his own personality. What it was and what it was and what it wasn't. But look, it doesn't matter because he said he babysits on the weekend and stuff like that, and I sit up here and watch the TV, so. I give it inertia as well, so I'll get it, but why run me good here? I don't like that one. Business Network anchor Dagan McDowell. He's so sharp he can't hold a balloon. TV writer and producer Rob Long. What is this, man? Law firm. What's his name? Where's Cyrus? Alright. Host of the upcoming series McMahon Files Declassified. Oh my god. On Science Channel like Baker. Alright, that'll work. Yes. You know what the great thing about not having that'll work. We need that intellectual bodyguard. You know what I mean? Like somebody intellectual balancer. And then we need the two the antithesis, the two intellectuals. And then we need to man up. And I'm like, man up. Oh no, I don't. But she did shave though last week. Say she didn't. The week before, she put on her bedroom face. She put on her bedroom life. I made a mental note. I have so many questions. Two of them are one. Why do we keep showing the Dow ticker? Because I think that Dow ticker because they're doing rolling disaster. It's like turn it off. The screen for a few hours. So like Renaissance and 17s, and like what's the reason? I don't know. I was a little stressfully about it. The terror attacks, but you can't shut the market down because you're literally just. I can't even say over and over again what I reiterated on the past blog. There's no views unless it all funnels to Onus. There's no point in reiterating the positive and stuff. I can't even extract. I get Alzheimer's just doing it over and over again. But like. But you get the people next door, I'm telling you, the next door entities, right? And they're all of a sudden, they're saying, oh, my trips to Paris, my trips around the world, my $5 round trips are finally coming into fruition on, like, physicality. Like, oh, man, I can hella bend this way on my knee because I'm used to picking up luggage in this way and whatnot. And they say that, but they overrate themselves. They say, oh, I'm like Superman and stuff like that. When people like the average person like myself does that kind of stuff every day. You know what I'm talking about? And on top of that, not be ignoramus about passing judgment on people like saying, oh, he's isolated. Oh, he, there's an excuse here. There's an excuse there. There's an excuse there. And I don't really understand when you're sitting up here, I do understand it. I do understand because you give yourself, your head gets big about like thinking that you're like Peloton queens now, you're Peloton queens, Peloton kings now. But really you're just queens on the idea of like movement because you think you got like, you've been doing it, this travel, you're well seasoned and stuff like that. You're well spoken, you're well read, you're well traveled. Okay. All right, then people want you to prove it at that point. People want you to prove it. People want to say, well, what is it you done? But we know you melt. It's already in the timeline within the past 2 or 3 weeks. You probably melted on average probably more than 5 times. So given that, people like myself do this every day and melt when you cause melt and shut down when you cause shutdown and psychotic break when you cause psychotic break, which you do intentionally. Unlike by choice. So now that people are giving you free reign to say, oh, well, you go ahead and live your life, you melt on your own and nobody's even pressuring you at that point. That's how bad that is. That's the strength of showing the weakness is the strength, or the divide, if I don't stutter, the divide People that say, "Oh, these are weaker. These people are not." You capitalize. No, because it angers me, man. Because you know what I'm saying. Because it hits the fan, and it's like, "Oh, I didn't know," and you're still gassed. I mean, you're still so fat-headed that you're still gassed on the fact that I'm so well experienced and all this stuff. And on top of being, the sixth generation, and you still have the nerve to rack all my shit talking about like that to make a person like me weaker, when in fact it's been proven that a person like me is stronger than you are. Not you in general, but like, you know what I mean? And she put on her face. And like, you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't make sense.
And so,
oh, you're so selfish to not wash your, to hoard all
I don't really care. I'm not no, go ahead. I'm gonna let her talk because she speaks for the people of those people, right? And stuff like that. She speaks of your community. She speaks of your community, and I'm gonna let that go ahead. So maybe you can take some toolage from her and say, what do you call it? You get tips from her and stuff like that.
I don't know you guys. I mean, I know you live out here.
I sure do.
I just mentioned a couple of things. I don't want to jinx the great state of Idaho, but no reported cases yet. But I think there's something more to it in the fact that nobody's panicking. At least that I know. We got potatoes.
Idaho. What's wrong with that point, right? Why is that Republican and the rest of it Democrat? Why are they on such a thin line of like borderlines of like a stretch of a border? Like, what is that kind of trying to prove?